people ask me, what color do you like? Well, I like the blue and chrome. So
My wife wants to take all the cabinets out of the kitchen and replace them with toolboxes
yeah,
Nice.
because she feels that they're more designed and organized better than a regular cabinet.
Yeah. People are doing that in buses too, and
Yep.
the conversion.
I got a toolbox in the tool truck that I took the wheels off of it and stuck, and I used that instead of I took out their cabinets and put it in a toolbox.
Yep.
That's what the wife was afraid when we were redoing the kitchen, because I showed her the stainless steel top and I said this would look really good for the tops, and she said I don't think so.
Wouldn't have been my wife. She'd have been like, where can we put it?
Yeah.
Yeah, the only mistake that I made, and I did that and I should have switched it, but I wasn't thinking at the time. That one, on the old stainless steel tops, they had engraved, the Mako logo with the Mako tools and stamped in the stainless steel, in the tops. And I let that top go with that box, and I really wish, because I got one top that's different from all the other boxes because it's a newer style instead of with the logo in it. And I hate to say it drives me crazy when I see it because it doesn't have the logo.
Oh, well.
It's funny the things that drive you crazy.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's like watching Emergency 51 and wonder why the squad truck has painted mirrors instead of chrome mirrors.
You know what I always notice about that? If you look on certain seasons, when they show the squad from the front, there's the running board, and it comes up under the front fender, and the front part of it that faces the wheel is not painted.
Yeah.
And I said, when they painted that stuff, they just paint everything red. How did that not get painted?
Yeah.
I'm sure they didn't mask it. I mean, they don't mask anything,
No.
So that was a question I always had.
But that drives me bananas.
Well, of course, now I found the latest chips anomaly I sent you with Pontius 55 Chevy. But that was it. They had two cars. Is what it was. They were using two cars, so they split between. Because in some of the, if you stop the shot, in some of them you can see one of the cars had like a set of mags on the rear wheels instead of those stupid moon covers. So two cars. That's all.
Yeah, that car looked like it was chopped though. It's kind of funny looking.
Yeah, it looked like the roof was a little shorter. I couldn't find any information on like the build of that. Who built it? If it was one of the
or where it went.
I don't know.
Yeah, that was. I don't remember. I mean, I don't remember that one.
That's in season 6. It's called Death's Door. It was when he used to be a canyon racer back in his early days. But of course, when they show him as a canyon racer, when they do the flashbacks, it's the same exact looking guy, but with a black cutoff T-shirt. Like they didn't make him look younger at all by a day. So you're supposed to believe that he looked the same.
Yeah, because even when you look at this one here, it just looks like the top is shorter on the glass.
Yeah, a little less. I mean, yeah, that car does have a tilt nose too.
Yeah,
that tilt nose. At least one of them did.
I like the
Chevy under the hood.
That snorkel, that scoop, that's
hardwood.
Yeah,
I had to send that to my buddy Dougie because we were talking. I have a white wheel that was on the Nomad, and he's got a white wheel that was on one of his cars. And I took the wheel off the Nomad. I have it hanging here in my basement. And there's something about white wheels that we're attracted to them because he sold his car and he took the wheel off it. And the guy knew that he had seen it with the white wheel. And he asked him, he says, "Hey, what happened to that steering wheel?" He goes, "I took that off, dude." He goes, "I've had that for a long time. I got to keep that." He says, "Oh, I really want that wheel." I'll pay you extra for it. And he went up to $500 extra for a white
Wow.
plastic, and Dougie wouldn't sell it. He goes, nope.
Oh wow.
Wow. Hey, so if you guys come across a big wood steering wheel, I'd like to put one on the bus.
Yeah, you need a bigger. See, the wheel I have would be good for you. It's actually I think it's 16-inch. It's good for a car with non-power steering. Like Dougie's is the smaller one. His kind of fits inside of mine. That's the one I would want. But yeah, but that car had a white wheel, so somebody had some style.
Yeah.
Some hot rod style.
All right, guys, time for me to bail.
All right, Jim.
All right, Jim.
All right,
Have a
Jim.
good
Hey,
week.
Jim.
Take care, guys.
All right, stay safe.
See ya.
Yeah, I'd like to put a nice wheel on it.
Yeah, you got something different. Something nice would be very fitting for that bus. I agree.
Yep.
Yeah, you need something different, out of the ordinary, custom.
Yep.
You just got to see what's out there.
Yeah, I probably had to go to a swap meet. I should make a special trip just to go look for one.
I think you're gonna have to I think you're gonna have to go to the catalogs and look at what some of the manufacturers are selling.
Think?
Yeah, because that stuff isn't all that common, unless you can go to like a bus or a truck swap meet.
Yeah. Truck, yeah.
Well, something older truck wise.
Right.
I'll tell you, man, some of these semis got some nice interiors. Have you seen those nice ones on like Instagram and stuff?
I am sure. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, they got marble floors and
Yeah.
yeah, they're getting kind of crazy with it.
Yeah.
All I wonder about is how do they write it off on their taxes?
Yeah.
Creatively.
Yeah.
Guess what? There's a will, there's a way.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, new floors, and they just put that down.
Yeah.
They'll tell you what kind of floors. Yeah, they'll tell you what kind of floors.
Right.
Yeah, I was
New
gonna
steering wheel.
I was gonna do the wood, what's the new wood floors you're putting in now?
The laminate?
Yeah, the laminate. I was gonna do that in my truck way back before they got real popular. But now everybody does it.
Yeah.
The only trouble with those laminate floors are you get them wet and they swell and cause a lot of problems because my wife's aunt and uncle put a laminate floor in and it was in there about 2 years and the kitchen flooded
Oh,
and they pulled all of it out and put down linoleum again.
yeah.
Wow.
Well, the new stuff is pretty good. They have like water resistant.
Yeah, that's what we put in our house. It's real easy to put together and cut and everything, and it's waterproof. It snaps together. I mean, I can spill a thing of water on there, and the puddle will just sit there, and it'll just sweep it up, mop it up.
That's what you gotta have.
It's like PVC almost, so it's not even gonna. It doesn't swell. It doesn't absorb the water.
Yeah, they came up.
Yeah, we're doing the whole house. My knees are killing me.
Yeah.
Yeah, get one of those rollers, those knee roller things.
Oh, I didn't think about that. I had the pads, but now I'm wearing the pads out. It's like, my God, I got to.
Well, I learned a while ago. I was out in the garage the other day. I had to set my car up on the quick jacks, and I knew I was going to be kneeling down a lot, so I wear a hard shell knee pad.
Yeah.
And you could like break dance on those things. You could spin around and pivot. You can do anything.
Yeah.
But it really saves your knees, man. It really does.
Oh yeah. If you're crawling around outside and like hit just like a tiny little pebble right in your knee, it's like,
yeah,
that's not good.
All it takes.
100.
Yeah.
Hurts like the dickens.
Yep.
And for some reason, when your knees get dirty, they don't clean off like other parts of your body. My knees will stay dirty for days. I don't know why it is.
Yep, that's true.
Well, don't have knees like mine.
And like
'cause
this, like this part of your arm gets dirty. You don't even know.
Yeah.
You get out of the shower, you're like, what the hell?
Right.
I can't remember what I suffer from, but my knees are always dirty looking, and and I've scrubbed them and done everything else. And I quit worrying about them. If anybody wants to check my knees out there, but I'd better be a slab on a table.
Yeah.
That's the other way of looking at it. That's fine. It just frees you up. Like, who cares? Don't worry about it.
So I got a question. So in my Buick, it has I welded in those floors. Well, part of the floor is not done. So now it's all bare metal. What kind of stuff should I put on there? I don't want to spray paint it. Is there any other something that will seal it up? Like I was looking at chassis black or something.
Pour 15.
Do pour 15.
Well, that's the other way. But then if you want to manipulate after it or weld on it, you can't. I think, like a good. I like this paint by VHT. It's an epoxy 60-degree black. It's literally you spray it and the hair on your arms just hardens, and it covers really, really nice. It doesn't take a lot of spray.
Yeah.
And Eastwood makes one too.
I had like 5 cans at one point. I was restoring my car. I had like 5 cans of all 60-degree black, and I wanted to see which one was, which one I liked the best. And there's one by Kepler, who's a paint supplier here. I like theirs, and then this VHT by far is my favorite because it really is. It's an epoxy paint, and it's got primer in it, so you don't have to prime separately.
And can I just put that on rust too, or do I have to make sure it's clean?
It's not made to paint over rust necessarily. Some paint is. Some is.
Pour 15 is.
Pour 15 definitely is. That's what it stands for. Pour 15 stands for paint over rust.
Yeah.
So I could just after I put POR 15 on it, I'm done. I don't have to put anything else, right?
You certainly can. Yeah.
It's gonna be covered with a carpet at some point.
Well, that's what I was saying though. If you're going to do anything else under there, like if you had to do any welding or anything on that, then you have to get the Pour 15 off, which is that stuff dries very, very hard too.
Yeah.
So you
now, Stacy David sent me the cleaner and the metal prep and the Pour 15. Let me grab it.
Yeah, you have to Pour 15. For the most part, works fairly easy, but there are some cases that you have to make sure that there is a little bit of prep, because what happens is if it does not adhere to the metal correctly, it will come off in sheets. It'll just flake right off.
Yeah. Well,
and it is not UV protected. So you do not want to have the sun on it because it will break it down and it will not work the way.
I think that they have a new line now that is UV. It does have a UV inhibitor in it. I know the old one.
As far as I know, I haven't seen that.
The original didn't. I know that because that's what I used way back. Yeah.
Yeah, the metal prep.
Yeah, this stuff really works good.
Yeah, it's etching stuff. Eastwood makes a. I think it's. I don't know if it's chassis black or frame black or whatever.
I think I used chassis black on something. I can't.
But it actually you have to puncture the bottom because it's a 2-stage paint.
Huh.
And that's really good. I've used that.
They actually made a top coat too.
Yeah. That right there is very, very good. Covers really good and everything. But
he gave you a gallon?
He gave me 5 gallons.
Whoa!
I got a bus, man. He sent me stuff for the bus.
Oh,
yeah. Have you opened that yet?
Yeah. You know what I hate about this? The lid is like paper thin metal. So when you open it, it bends up, and you can't get it to seal.
Oh, you can't get it sealed.
Yeah, and you should. If it's been open, you should keep it in the refrigerator.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I remember.
Yeah, I had that chassis black, and I left it out, or I opened it, used it. I figured I could close it up, use it again someday.
And you should lay a piece of cellophane across the top and close it, because if not, it'll actually glue that top together, and you ain't opening it back. You might as well get a can opener, and because you ain't getting it back.
Yep, that's what happened to the first can.
Yep.
So I put a plastic bag, put the lid on. There's probably like maybe a quarter of it left. Let it sit, and then I'm like, I want to use this again. And it was like almost a year probably after I opened it up. It's just solid.
Yeah.
solid brick. Like, I guess that's
Well,
too long.
Well, the problem is that the air inside the can,
Yeah.
and that's what you have to
That's
watch,
enough.
and that's one of the things about keeping it in a. Actually, I keep mine in the freezer. The old lady has a cow because it's
I'll
in the
never get away
freezer
with it.
downstairs.
Never get
But
away
I
with it.
still have a paintbrush. I still have a paintbrush that I use. I just did it on the Audi over the weekend. When I put the tank in and cleaned up some rust, I came down here and got the paintbrush out of the freezer and that pour and opened it up and recoated it. Coated that area. And the paintbrush has been since the last time I used it was 2-3 years. But the freezing, when you put it in the freezer, the extreme cold keeps it from activating or hardening up. And but there's a few things. I know some guys have had a lot of problem with the Pour 15 not
So
sticking.
how much do you think a quart would do? Would it do a whole floor in a car?
Yeah.
You
One quart
think?
would do it?
I don't know.
It goes
A
a long way.
quart. Yeah. A quart should.
Because that's like $50.
It goes on pretty thin. Yeah, it goes pretty far, and you can spray it.
You can spray. Actually, if you spray it, I have not tried that. Supposedly,
One time
spraying
done.
it. Spraying is supposed to be a lot better. It's just that whatever you buy a cheap spray gun because
Harbor Freight gun and just
it
throw
ain't
it away.
ever going to be the same again after the Pour
You have to
15.
cut it, and you have to wear a good respirator.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, you'll have to cut it down, and you'll get, but it's self-leveling, and it'll self-level out, and like I said, if you use a roller, that's a good way of covering a lot of area.
Yeah, I did my whole bus floor. With
That for the rust proofing.
yeah.
And
I think I'm gonna spray under the undercoat.
underneath.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's one one of the issues of not being UV. If you leave it out, it will break it down. It won't. The sun will break down the coating.
Yeah, they have a top coat that you can put on too. That
Yeah, but
probably
if you do
is.
like you said, the carpet's going to go on there. You're never going to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then and if I have some extra, I'll do the bottom underneath. I mean, the whole car's rusted, so the whole frame is rusted on the thing. I just want to get it so water is not coming inside from the bottom if I ever drive it.
You know what you could use is the what's that stuff called? As seen on TV, the
flex tape.
Oh, the flex tape.
flex stuff. Man, listen, that stuff don't play, man.
No, I put some on the convertible top, and I can't get that stuff off. If I put it on, it's like, oh my hand.
It won't leak at that spot.
Yeah, it won't leak. Well, the only problem is that the top's going when I put it up and down. It's kind of ripping in spots, but flexing. But yeah, I don't think it leaks. I don't know. I haven't really taken it outside in the rain or washed it. I haven't really washed it either.
People laugh,
The
man.
Flex Seal's
The flex,
pretty-
yeah.
You can laugh about it, but I've had to use it.
Oh yeah,
That's so sticky. I can't believe it. You
The
touch it
tape.
together, or forget it. Yeah, the tape. Yeah.
yeah.
Y'all
just-
They- all their products.
Y'all just had a bunch of rain. You could have taken it out and tested it.
Yeah. Well, if I wash it, I'll freaking. I'll put a picture up of what the car looks like now. It's freaking mess.
How
It's
long
my-
have you
I
had
have
that car? Keith?
Well, the 53 I've had for like 10 years, but this convertible car is a 350Z. That's my
Okay.
drift car that I haven't gone drifting in.
No, I was talking about the Buick.
Yeah, the Buick, I've had that for like 10 years.
How did you come about owning that car?
I was just looking around. I like the looks of it, of the front and the grill and all that. I was like, oh, yeah,
Yeah.
it's a 4-door. And it was
Which is
cheap.
why a lot of people wouldn't buy it.
Yeah, I know. Well, I thought I would get it because it's 4-door. I could just have the kids open the back door and they can go in the
Okay.
back.
Yeah.
But that hasn't happened. I've had it for 10 years. They haven't been
Right.
because it keeps
But-
I keep doing stuff to it.
Well, by the time you get it on the road, they'll all be grown up and gone. You'll carry
Yeah.
the grandkids
I
around,
know.
right?
They'll be driving it. Yeah.
Which, yeah.
Isn't
Yeah,
it
so that's
the
always-
Isn't it the Buick that has the holes on the side of the hood? The round
It's
holes.
on it's on the fender 53.
The fender.
They always did that. That was their signature to
Portals.
denote the model line.
Yeah, I love that. To me, that was.
Those are
it
called
looked beautiful.
portholes, by the way.
The portholes. And if you had 4 portholes, it's the Roadmaster, right?
Right.
If 3, it's either a special or a super, and mine's a super. Which just
We
means
were
it's
at the New York Auto Show sometime in the 2000s, and they came out with when Buick was. They had a new car out, and it had 3 portholes on each side. And we're talking to the girl who was the rep, and she said, they brought that back as an homage to the older days, in the 50s. And they said that car now has a V6, so they put 6 of them on. I'm like, that's pretty cool that they would do that.
Is that why they put 6 on the other one? On the old?
Well, no,
Not a V6.
Roadmaster was an 8. That had 4 and 4.
Right, the Roadmaster was also
Roadmaster,
my
yeah.
53 is a super that has that's the first year of the V8, but that still has 3. So I don't know. That doesn't make sense then. I don't know what they did.
But they're cool.
Yeah, it's got it has a LS swap, 4L60 E transmission and a 4.9-inch in it. Disc brakes all around. And the thing starts right up every time, but it's not a driver yet.
I will tell you, I saw probably the coolest LS swapped car Monday night. I sent Brian some pictures. I posted pictures actually. It's an AMX, like a 68 or 69 AMX. But you walk up to it, and it's sitting a little higher. And under the hood, I looked up. Said, okay, it's got an LS in it, and on the plastic engine covers, he had the. It was actually out of a GTO, so he had the letters rules, and he put AMX letters on there. I look over and I said, "Holy crap! This guy actually put the anti-lock brakes in this car." There you go. That's the license plate.
GTO.
And I looked inside, and it had the GTO dashboard. And the console and shifter. He had the GTO seats that he took the GTO lettering off and had AMX stitched on it.
Mm-hmm.
I think he rebodied a GTO. I think he put an AMX body on a GTO.
But the GTO is doesn't have a frame, so he must just cut the subframe.
The AMX doesn't either.
Oh, okay.
So I think he put the AMX body on the GTO.
Yeah, he could just cut it.
Because looking at whoever put, now you can see the ABS pump over there. Who puts an ABS?
Why would you do that? Yeah, that's true.
I think you're right because look at the shock on that picture Brian had up. Where the shock
Look at the shock tower.
Yeah.
And the firewall, the where the cowl is on the bezel.
It was
that's what he did.
very build. It was probably
That's
the
what he did.
nicest, one of the nicest conversions I've seen. Just for being well done.
It's a good job.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Where are
so
those
there's
pictures?
see the
Put 'em on.
ABS pump.
Yeah.
And actually,
Motor
I guess
control.
is that the control arm? The black going through? I mean,
It looks like something like that, yeah.
No, not if it has the
I don't know what would
Strut,
that be?
right?
Maybe that's a magnetron. Brian, show him the baby of the sweetheart of the cruise night.
Well, I was going to show him. Hold on. Here's the car itself.
Yeah, it's sitting a little higher.
Sitting a little higher.
And
Especially the back.
Yeah.
The wheels are kind of
Right.
Are those the GTO wheel or?
I would imagine that it's to fit the GTO hubs.
But this one right here. Who's the U-boat commander?
Yeah, there you go.
82 928.
28.
Yeah, but that was an automatic.
Yes.
I looked at those.
I looked inside. I almost puked over the guy's perfect leather seats.
Me, I
So
feel
that
you.
automatic shift, I was like,
When I saw the pictures you posted, I saw that. And
But
I
you
felt
know,
the same way.
Ray, it was funny, you know, when we were talking about that, and I was saying that interior, you know, how that interior looked pretty good and how it held up. But
Yeah.
once I started look at the now this is the passenger seat now, and look at the first run of stitches, you could see. Let me get this thing. See how it's it's all coming apart. These cars came apart. I mean, the interior in those cars, it's so hard, and you can see like around, like that's on the console where the
Right.
leather shrinks on the plastic.
Right.
I mean, these cars just fell apart.
Yeah. But that one was in pretty good shape.
But I was at first I was like, man, I cannot believe, because a lot of them will change change that interior gets changed.
Uh-huh. What do they put in it? What do the guys swap in?
Well, they swap in the newer stuff.
Okay.
You know, newer stuff, or they get them you know, getting them restitched and everything.
Right.
Usually, and this one, like I said, this one's really good, especially for being, but like how, like over on the dash, how that dash is, they bubble up real bad. They just, the stick, this is actually I was really surprised.
It's probably a garage. Like I said, the only thing I didn't check was the mileage. It's probably a garage kept low mileage car.
You can, it has, oh my God, Ray.
What?
It has 42,000.
Oh, it's on the sticker?
No.
Oh, you can see it on the dash. Oh wow, you blew it up far enough. Look at that. Oh geez.
Yeah.
Looks like 404,000.
Yeah, 404,000.
Well, it's got,
I got it.
It's got the 2040.
I never thought.
I didn't even, when we talked, I didn't even think, and I was like, well, he's got a picture of the dash. Let me blow it up.
Yeah. 40,000.
Actually, that's probably, that can't be 426. It must have been 42.
Yeah.
Should be a zero. Oh, there's no zero in front of that though.
What year is that car? 86?
82.
82.
It had the ugly steering wheel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
But I like the dash. I like the dash layout.
Yeah.
The gauges are nice.
Yeah, they have a nice dash layout.
But
That interior looks all nice up until you get to that automatic.
So he's got the 97 wheels on it.
That's a plus.
Yeah, the newer wheels.
maybe the reason it has an automatic is because he likes to cruise and not have to bother to shift.
Yeah, bullshit. I'm not buying that one. That's why I like to cruise. I like shifting.
I gotta look because it's got the side marker light on it. It might be a Euro car.
Ah, okay. Well, I tell you what, the guy who runs this event, I met him. Me and Kevin are sitting in front of my car, and this guy comes walking over, big, loud, and boisterous. He goes, "Hey, who's the guy from this Motormouth radio show? Drives a gold GTO. I'm supposed to meet." And I'm like, "It's me. It's either me or him. All right, it's me." He goes, "Oh, good." So we were talking, and the next day he sends me a text. He wants me to do some remotes that I'm not going to do, and I said to him, "Hey, Sonny, by the way," I said, "how long does this cruise night go on? Because some of them have already stopped." And he said, "Until it snows or gets too cold for anybody to show up. We don't have an end date." I was like, "Nice." I said, "I would be there in like 38-degree weather."
I think it is a Euro car because it has the rear fog light in the back.
Oh, okay. Well, if he's there again, I'll talk to the guy.
Hey guys, I got to jump ship.
All right, Lewis, make sure you got a life preserver.
Yeah, man. You guys have a safe week, and we'll see you next Thursday.
Yes, sir.
Take care,
You
Lewis.
got
Be
it.
safe.
All right. Thanks.
All right.
Hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll see if I can talk to the guy. I didn't see him around the car the other night, but he's probably looking at all the American stuff. So whatever.
Yeah, I'd be curious if the guy had the, because I think because it has see how they put on the side marker lights?
Yeah.
And I think those were done at port to make them US legal.
Oh, really?
Because it doesn't have the bumperettes on the front on the bumper.
Right.
Hmm.
He probably took them off and chucked them. If it's a year, I mean, I don't know. I think you had the VIN number in here, didn't you?
Well, yeah, I do. It's either that or you're just gonna take a drive up here and talk to the guy.
Yeah. You never know, Ray. You better
I
be
think
careful.
about it. I'm like, you know what? I gotta take a drive down to see Brian. It's only 4 hours. So,
That's how long it takes us to get to Interstate 5.
jeez, wow.
Actually, 3 hours in the car and 4 to 5 hours with the box truck.
Yeah.
Some nice twisty roads.
And this was Ray's new friend.
Five's pizza.
We're still alive. Never mind.
Five's PCH, right, Papa?
Yeah. Do what now?
I said I-5 is PCH. Is that right?
PC
No,
Pacific
5
Coast
is the
Highway.
big northwest, the north-south corridor.
Yeah.
That was one of
It
the
runs
originals.
from San Diego, or no. Yeah, I think it runs all the way down to San Diego, up
Doesn't
to
it-
Washington
does it-
State.
Does it change designation or change name at one point?
Let's see. I don't think so.
Or
How far
was
have we
another
done
road
I-5?
that merged in with it? I remember seeing a video about that. I don't know.
Oh, it's probably eaten up a couple of other roads, but
Yeah.
We've been up into Washington on it, and we've been down to San Diego on it.
and it stayed I-5 the whole way.
Pretty much, yeah. We went around a
Right.
few things. It became 205 and 505. And
Well, yeah, because you don't like traffic.
Yeah, I think San Diego to LA area. At least that's where I've been on it. I think that's PCH.
Probably is. I have no idea.
Ray, how close is your rear tires rubbing close on? Do they rub on the frame?
Only if I have my friend's son in the back seat, who's kind of a big kid. And that's good that you picked that out. They're close, but
That's
they
close.
don't rub normally. And the rear is offset a little, so the left side is a little closer than the right side. But I can get my
Yeah.
finger in there.
I mean, that's close.
Man, what did you take, an autopsy picture? It's like
What is-
I couldn't even reference what you were looking at there.
Oh, well, here, I'll show you. This is the picture you sent me.
Oh, that's from okay.
And then, so then,
He
come
zoomed
up,
in and enhanced it.
Right.
and then, but I was just looking here because that's the tire. This is the tire, and then that's the part of the frame, and there's there's no light through there.
It is close, and well, I mean, that was at an angle too. It wasn't straight on.
Yeah.
Now, I'll tell you the God's honest truth. Those tires are M&H Race Masters. And after I put the car through the body shop for paint, I had it up on the shop at the lift, and I saw like some thread coming through one of the tires. I was like, oh shit, I need 2 new tires. So there's only 2 brands of tires sold in that size, and it's the M&H, and then it's the ones I bought, which are Nitto.
Yeah.
And when I
This
had
is on the
those
this
are
is
the
on the
M&Hs.
passenger side, and like I said, there is a little bit of a gap.
Yeah. Well, there's less room on the passenger side than on the driver's side. I'm sorry, no, less room on the driver's side. So I put the Nittos on, and that's when I saw it was even closer. And I had to do a little grinding and a little clearance. And then only when I had my friend's son in the back did I have a rub. But it's funny because my brother, he also on his 55 Nomad, I'm sorry, his 57. The 55 has big wheel wells and they're arched. The 57, they're enclosed and they're not as wide. He put this I think the same size or similar size Nittos on his car and had the same issue. The Nittos are just a little bit fatter. The sidewall's a little bit more pronounced than the M&H's. So next time I'm either going to have to drop down a size or massage the inner wheel wells a little more or go back to the M&H's. I don't know. Plus the car is, lowered now, so I don't have the clearance. I don't have the height.
Uh-huh.
So, but I think I'm going to pull out. I was looking in the garage today. I have my light out, and I could see up on top of the wall of the garage. I saw all my distributors dropped into the cinder block holes, and then right past that, I saw my ladder bars. So I'm going to have to climb up there with a ladder and unearth those babies. I think that's.
I know. I sent you a picture, but I got a new toy over the weekend, and it was the Makita bandsaw for metal cutting.
Very nice. Yeah.
And man, I have cut all kinds of shit up.
When I was putting the toe tabs on, I have some shielding that goes under the bumper on my car, and then there's some really heavy, like tar-like paper. It was I had taken that stuff off of a 65 GTO. It was on the car. It was on the AC cars, and they closed off the bottom of the bumper to kind of keep all the air going through the radiator. And there's a sheet metal lip, a 90, and I had to relieve a couple inches on each side for the toe tabs. So first I used my whiz wheel. I couldn't get in deep enough, so I came in the house and I got my Milwaukee hacksaw. And man, that thing just cut it like butter. I was like, oh, what a joy.
Yeah, I was really surprised because when you're holding this, you're kind of holding at
it's at a weird angle, right?
It's like, and I had a problem. Well, here, I'll put it back up because it's at a little bit at an angle when you're holding it.
Right.
And so I kept wanting to straighten my arm out. Straighten my wrist out, which then would turn the blade. Right. And once I got that out of my head about just running along, man, but it made it really, I was really surprised how easy, even if you cut it crooked, it was easy to trim up. You could just take the smallest bit off. It was really, I was really impressed.
Nice.
They look up it's Swag. They make a table that you can mount that thing to.
Oh, cool.
Really, I was wondering. I was like, man, I want
because that's what I
like taking a.
Because I wanted a metal bandsaw, and I was looking. I go, I'm like, get a huge one that stands up, and I'm like, Then I saw someone that had a portable one like that, and then with a little table.
I got a half metal bandsaw. I got a bandsaw when Sears went out of business. Yeah. I bought it for like $100.
Nice.
And I love it, and it sits on top of my toolbox.
So I got the little table and it works fine. Just the throat isn't that big because it's a hand band.
Yeah, well, they make on this one. There's two different ones. This is the M12 version, but if you get the M18 has a wider mouth.
Right.
And at first, like I said, I haven't. Let me just put it this way: I haven't found anything that I couldn't cut. I'm ready to cut a roof off a car now. You know what I'm saying? I'm like,
buying a 55 Chevy.
Yeah, I tell you, man. So, but I had gotten the tank in, the Audi.
And how do you mount it? Just with two straps?
Well, yeah, actually the straps aren't on it because I made a brace down here in the bottom in the front, and then I put the straps and so forth. But I made I had some 1-inch steel tubing and made a bottom out of it and put that in and so forth. Actually, I figured like if all goes well, I'll eventually take and get the 45 like that to put on the tank.
Right.
And then I'll just cut this is the original gas tank, and then cut the filler tube off.
Yeah.
So how big is that new tank you put in?
15.
Oh wow. Okay, that's probably about the same size or bigger than what was there.
It's like the same size.
Yeah.
The only difference, the Audi one went sideways in the car.
Right,
That's
and
how
you
much gas I
still
put in
had
my
trunk
car
room.
the other night and didn't fill it.
It went in between the shock towers in the back.
Oh, that's the original gas tank went in that same spot?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you didn't lose any room.
No, you can see how much of the trunk space.
Yeah.
Yeah. I only lost. Actually, the only thing that I took out there was it wasn't a hard wall. It was like a what's that? Press wood, not press wood, but press cardboard or whatever. It had a wall that went in between.
Oh, a false wall, just to
yeah, and then
would
it
do
had
nothing.
a rubber mat that went in there that because you couldn't see the gas tank beforehand.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That doesn't seem too safe, actually. I mean,
What?
I guess right behind the back seat, right?
oh yeah. Well, it's like the old pickup truck, right?
Old pickup trucks too. Yeah.
Right.
So
Get hit, get
And-
gas sprayed on you.
I sent Ray the other thing, but it's that season, boys. Pumpkin spice.
Oh, please stop.
Krispy Kreme.
No, I think one of the weirdest tanks is the early Mustangs, where it's the trunk floor.
Yeah, that's the way mine is. Yeah.
And why would they ever do that? I mean, that's crazy. Using a
Yeah.
tank as a crumple zone,
Yeah.
you know?
At least it didn't blow up like the Pentos.
Yeah.
True.
But yeah, that's like I said. I mean, my tank's out of mine, and it's just this big hole sitting back there. I mean, it's huge.
Yeah.
It's the whole floor of
It's crazy.
the car.
They stopped that in what, 69?
69. 68 probably. I think 69. I don't think it was the part of the floor.
All right.
I'm not sure. Because if they did it in 69, they most likely did it in 70 because those cars are
Well, yeah.
it's the 2 years, 65, 66, and then 67,
see them going back.
68.
Yeah, couldn't see them go backwards.
Yeah, and if that changed, it would have changed like in 71.
Right.
If that changed, then I'm not too sure. I would have to look.
Yeah.
I don't know when they put the strap, strapped it underneath. But yeah, I don't know. But hopefully, I don't know, I don't know what I did with it. I dug out my the other idle valve,
Oh, yeah.
and hopefully can't seem to. And it's weird because, like I said, it was funny. I was telling Ray, but when I got the tank all in and filled it up, I went to start the car, and the car wouldn't start. And I had it running off of a gas can, and it, like I said, it ran for hours on the gas can. And I was like, damn, what did I do wrong with putting this tank in? And then I remembered at the same time I'd put a battery in the car, and the main harness that sent the power to the ECU or the computer, it was tightened down, but it wiggled on the post. So I tightened that down, and the car started right up. And luckily, I didn't start. Normally, you get panicky and start tearing all kinds of shit. And I said, let me just, whatever I touched, because it was running before.
What was the last thing you touched?
Last thing you touch is where you want to start.
Yep.
And but I had taken the idle valve, the idle valve off, and cleaned it because it's supposed to move freely, and it was working kind of okay, but like I said, I can't really. It doesn't want to idle too good, so I'm hoping that's what it was. Unless some shit, I had flakes. This was after cleaning the tank several times. I was still getting that kind of shit out of the tank.
Oh man,
nice.
You didn't seal your tank up?
I can't seal that tank up, the original one.
You can't pour. There's a
no.
Oh
the
hell!
Bottom, on the German car, I gotta be really careful with German cars because there's the pre-filter inside of it is a screen, right. And it's a sump tank in the bottom. And if you pour that stuff in there, it will cover that screen, and it won't work.
Okay.
And I'm still thinking. I don't know. I'm crazy enough, or I'm thinking about going ahead and cutting that tank open.
New bandsaw, cut it open.
Yeah, well, I got that bandsaw, but I'm thinking about cutting that tank in half, or cut a big enough section. I'll probably cut it in half. And put it in my blasting tank, clean it out, and then weld it back together. Sure. I don't know.
Well, you got that new saw, Homer Simpson.
Yeah, I know. Well, like I said, I'm
sorry.
That's part of me says I don't even have time to do anything else that I'm supposed to be doing. I can only imagine cutting that thing all apart and then effing around with that for about 2.5 weeks.
I watched on Vice Grip Garage. He took some marbles and some kind of solution, I don't remember, and he just rattled it all around. You can try it out.
I had put in, there's some type of acid, not hydrochloric acid,
or muriatic acid.
Muriatic. Yeah, that's it. Say that again, Ray.
Muriatic acid.
Yeah, I dumped that in there, and I dumped a handful of nuts and bolts.
Yeah, okay.
And I rolled that thing around there. The dogs thought that I was crazy, dude.
Ryan, this is the
yeah, that's it.
That's
the book.
This is the manual, man.
Yeah. I got that on microfiche, and back over here in the corner I got that book.
5,000.
Yep.
But this is the kind of the best part. It's still got my brother's handwritten notes.
Yeah.
From the tech school.
From the class, yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, here we go. 84 Audi.
Yep.
It's like all the stuff is in here.
And I don't remember when I was in high school. My friend had an Audi. I don't remember if it was there 4,000. I don't know.
That's what
4,000 or 5,000.
It's got all the diagrams. There's your start valve right there.
Yep.
In fact, he even made a note on it, like how it opened, how the spring pressure actuated.
But he used to beat the heck out of it. And then one day I'm driving. I was driving down Smithtown, and I see his car off the side of the road, and I go over there. I'm like, "Hey, what happened?" CV joint just blew up. His ball bearings and everything all over the place.
And this is half of a service manual. It's got all the dashboard.
Yep.
Call out and the specialty tools.
Yep.
It's like, I guess they were giving him pages out of the service manual.
Well, that's the problem with the German stuff, because when you went to class and they gave you that stuff, and then when the tech stuff came, half the tech stuff didn't have the other. You had to combine the two because they only printed stuff one time. They wouldn't double print stuff, or it wouldn't be in another book, and that was the problem.
There
Yeah.
you go.
Yeah.
CIS electronic fuel injection. It's
Brian's going to pull up a piece of the fuel injectors.
he's going to pull out a microfiche
See, I
machine.
have.
Machine.
God, does anybody even know what that is anymore?
I do.
My kids don't.
Well,
See, this
Yeah, I
is
don't
like
think my
the
kids do.
sunroof book.
Yeah. Everything was brown and yellow with them.
Yeah.
I have some books. I have some books here that some of those too. The brown and I don't know what was with their color scheme.
But like I said, everything. I mean, this was all.
Yeah, you want to know about cruise control?
Yep.
There you go.
This is all broken
Oh, really?
down, and they showed. And then, like I said, when you got your when you got the service books, some of the stuff would say reference back to this book. And if you didn't go to school, if you didn't go to the class, you didn't have the book.
Here's the sunroof.
Yep.
So yeah,
Was that for the 5,000?
it just says no Audi. Let's see. 5000S turbo and wagon. And
Yeah,
this
'cause
it says an update procedure. Yeah, so this was updated.
Yeah, because I was getting ready to say I was seeing if they had, but then we had this is what drove everybody crazy because I have more. I don't have that many Audi ones, but you get these guys talking to you and they'd be like trying to remember all the specs, and we had these little pocket books. I mean, books.
Cool. Yeah.
And this had all the specs and codes and
That's all you need.
serial. Actually,
It's the cheat sheet.
that was a 82. Here we go. 82,928. Here we go.
It's in there.
So I can go through and actually with a serial number, this should have the VIN number on. They should have the VIN plate number on it.
Yep, you got the VIN.
But this had all the specs. I mean, this is, and they would get mad because they were like, "Don't you remember this stuff?" I said, "I mean, how can I remember all these models, dude?" So you just the car that you're working on, you go and get your, if you're working on a 75 911, you go get your 75 911 book.
Yeah, you just have to remember where the books are.
Yeah, well,
I trust a mechanic who goes and looks stuff up.
I mean,
a lot
this is
better.
just one pile. This is
Yeah. Then I trust a mechanic who knows all the parts. Because my wife used to be married to one, and he'd rattle all this off, and then you go dig it up and go, "Wait a minute, Yeah. And I can't do it because my memory is just horribly good.
But later on they called them fax books.
Oh, fact.
Yeah.
We need some of those now. Fact books.
So this is, like I said, this was the last year. Was 2002 was my last year, and that was the book.
That was the last year when you were turning wrenches?
Last year when I was at
20-some years?
Yeah, that was my last year, and then I started with the and then these books were these were the gray band were salesman books.
Oh.
And this had all the like they basically had what the options were, what colors.
Oh yeah.
What came, what your gear. They did break it down to like what your gear ratios were and shift points and stuff like that. But these were, I don't have that many of them, but these were for sales.
Those are cool. Yeah.
Your 0 to 60 times.
Yeah, all the stuff to make,
stuff to cover what a customer would ask, whether it's a
right.
customer
But
with
then
very
these books were for the technicians, and this had, all your timing marks, valve specs, adjustments, capacities, tire spec, everything. This was everything.
Yeah, salespeople need those books now. You go in there, they don't know anything about the cars.
Yeah.
This one's blue.
Yeah.
Got a V6 in it. Like,
What's the weight capacity?
yeah, they have no idea.
yeah.
They don't know anything about them.
Did you, Ray? Do you have your brother's passport?
I do remember seeing one of them somewhere. Yeah.
Because that had all his training stuff in it.
I think that's out. I think that's in the toolbox in the garage.
Yeah. Because this was this was early on, and it was Volkswagen Audi, but that I did my Porsche training, and this is early.
Mhm.
And then Porsche did their own red book. And then this was the Audi one.
Yeah.
So your brother should be like this one. It should look something very similar to this.
Okay.
This was early on.
Yeah. Maybe outside. I'll have to take a look.
It might not have the Volkswagen emblem on it. Yep, those were the good old days.
Yeah, man. I know I got some of those brown and yellow those Audi books around here somewhere. They're kind of they're probably buried in the bottom because I haven't looked at them in years.
Yeah.
Like the Hayes manuals or something but with yellow and brown too, weren't they?
A lot of times they had a brown cover. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like so bland colors, boring.
Yeah, brown and yellow, and I think black and yellow for the Haynes. Haynes.
I guess they just wasn't supposed to show the dirt or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, those were.
Well, with those brown manuals, I just blended in, and then you couldn't see my hand.
Nice.
Oh man.
So then you got to dress the part, Brian. You gotta where the hell's the
Like this work.
You gotta wear your
Yeah, I only have one or two T-shirts, and they don't fit me anymore.
made this in red and in blue.
Yeah.
What happened? You shrunk?
Yeah.
I didn't shrink. I kind of grew.
The shirt shrunk.
Right. All my
Yeah.
clothes shrunk. The
Yeah.
new washer did it.
Yeah, too much hot
Hey,
water.
With
Yeah.
those tasty burgers you posted on Instagram, I can see.
Who?
You.
Oh yeah, for Jimmy Buffett, I had my land shark and cheeseburger in paradise.
They look
Yeah.
good. Made me hungry.
Yeah, the other night after the cruise, there's a McDonald's across the parking lot, and I was gonna go over there for dinner. Now it's like 8:30, and my buddy Kevin says, "Hey, we got a place by us called All American Burger, and it's just a hamburger stand that's been there since the '60s, and it's the same. It's just like a regular McDonald's hamburger, nothing crazy, but they make hot dogs and quarter pounders. They do fish, and the fries are great." So he goes, "Hey, how about we go to All American?" I said, "I was thinking the same thing. We getting a parking spot may be tough, but I did." And it's always so funny when you're sitting there and people are coming in and out and they're commenting on your car and they don't know that it's yours, and you're listening to them, like see how wrong these people can be about what they're saying. But I tell you, man, I got a thick shake. I couldn't get a pull of that shake. It took 45 minutes before I could actually get some of it in my mouth. That's how thick it was. I was like, man, that's good stuff. It's like,
Well,
cement.
if you're looking at the GTO in 65, they had those yellow bars in the front. They came factory, and they were factory only, and they kept the car down on the ground. So when you hit the gas, it doesn't pop a wheelie, but it's the ones on the front.
It's kind of funny because the guy,
Those kind of comments.
when I asked the guy, like when he's shutting the thing down, he says, "No, not till it snows or gets cold." So I copied the text and sent it to my friend Kevin, and he says, "Oh, cool." He goes, "So," he says, "when it snows," he goes, "we're gonna, we'll need a snow plow." I'm like, "No problem." I said, "Look, I'll just mount one to my toe tabs." I said, "I'll put a plow right on the front. I'm good to go, man." So, plow your way into the cruise night.
Yeah. Well, you get you get people that get excited and they don't know a whole lot, but they're trying their best. And then you get the ones that are know-it-all that don't know nothing, but they're a complete donkey. I see the child in the thing, so I'll leave it to donkey. They're a complete donkey, and
you can't hear.
Oh, okay. They're a complete ass.
You know,
And
you get the typical comments like, "Wow, man, what year is that car? You know, is that 69 or something?" Like, no, it's a 65. Yeah, man, I had one just like it. I'm like, you did, and you don't know what year it was?
yeah,
I get that. That's probably the most common comment. Yeah, I had one of them. What year is that? Like, okay.
There was a guy at the Cars and Coffees, probably I want to say 2 months ago. It was around that same time when I took that picture of that white Stingray Vet.
Yeah,
that's early 60s. And this guy, I noticed he kind of just we crossed paths a couple times. He never said anything to me, but I just got this feeling. I'm like, something's up with this guy. He's one of those constant liars, or just something's not right with this guy. So every time as I'd end up where he was, I'd kind of start paying more attention and listening. And he'd be like, "Oh, I had one of these back in the day and this, that, and the other." And then he'd start spouting nonsense. And then they'd be like, "No, that didn't come in that year." "Oh, well, maybe mine, somebody put something aftermarket. I don't know." And then at one point, one guy, most of the guys just shined him on. And towards the end there, the guy goes, "Well, wait a minute, I want to know more." And he goes, "Well, I got to go." And he starts wandering off. And he goes, "No, I want to know. I want to talk to you. You said you have one. No, come here." And he's hightailing it to the next, another road down to look at cars. And the guy wouldn't let off. And I'm like, "Ooh, I want to watch this." And I'm like, and of course the guy that was running around telling stories about every car that was out there, he was running off, and the other guy was chasing him. I'm like, "Hey, I wonder if he's from New York, because he got a burr under his saddle, and he's not gonna let this guy. He caught him lying, and he wants to really hammer it home." And I'm like, I love it.
See, usually when that happens, and you catch a guy in just, it's either the bold-faced lie or the guy really just doesn't know what he's talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I go the other way. I just back off. It's like, okay, all right, guy, all right, okay. It's like, the Chrysler with the 454 in it. Yeah, right. Okay, they get something like that wrong. Like, they'll always have the wrong engine size. Like, yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
I love listening to them because it's an education in itself.
Well, Pop Squirrel, I'll tell you, the God's honest truth is sometimes, and I understand this, that a guy might have had that car so long ago, he just forgot. Like, he's not in it anymore. So he just kind of forgot those little details. And now, so many years later, he's coming back into a hobby that he used to be part of. And he's just not current, but he was at one point, So I give a guy a break for that too. Like, maybe you did know what you were talking about at one point, and now you don't. So that's why instead of challenging him, I just kind of take the high road and say, "All right, that's it."
Yeah, I just listen.
See, but the more that they do it, the more there's a point where I have to finally say, "All right, hold on a minute, stop." Now I got to correct you on this, because everything you said has been wrong. I mean, there's a limit, but I give them a lot of rope. Hang yourself.
I feel the same way. I kind of get a kick out of listening. And again, sometimes it's somebody that's new into the hobby, or and they've picked out a few things out of a magazine, and they're just testing some of their knowledge. No harm. They're trying to fit in. There was a point out of high school, I was that guy. And I'm like, "Hey, I remember those days." And, no harm, no foul. And the guy's not trying to be a jerk. But the guy, like I said, the guy running around to every car. I used to have one of those, and I used to have.
Yeah, every
car.
I'm
like, yeah. And then he's just spouting a bunch of bull. That guy, he's being, and in the way he was doing it, he was being an a-hole. And again, I just started listening, but I became very aware of him, and I was like, there's something shady with this guy.
There was another guy there, and I guess he was in his 50s, and he had a 1970 Challenger convertible. I posted a picture of it. It was a white car with a black top. I had a 71. It's the only 2 years that they made the convertible. So I gravitated over to him and I asked him, hey, how long have you had this car? He had it a while, and he said his father did a lot of the mechanical work on it for him. And it was set up just like mine. It was a 318 two-barrel 904 tranny. It was the base engine. Well, it wasn't the slant six. So, and we got to talking, and it was a little rough, but I kind of like him that way, and it had some stuff done to it. So we got to talking, and I said, yeah, it's kind of funny. That's the one car I had that had a two-bladed radiator fan, just an X with a 2-core radiator, no shroud, and that car could run all day in the desert heat and never overheat. Yeah, look at that. Chinese throwing star. Why you have that there, I will never know.
Because it was just leaned up against in between my toolbox.
Good one. Touche. So now the guy goes on to tell me, I thought he was going to back me up, and he's like, that's the problem with my car. He goes, it runs hot, and I don't know why. I was like, well, it's a 318 or a 904. Like, and what he did is he put a 4-row aluminum radiator in it, a new water pump, and like a 7-blade plastic flex fan. I said, dude, you should be running more than cool, and he changed the thermostat and all of this, or his dad did. So a little later on, I went over there and I was, what the hell happened here? I'm looking at the car. I didn't take a picture of it. I should have. But his, the upper hose, right where it come out of the thermostat housing, comes up, made a 90-degree, and it was flat right there, flattened. It was more oval where the rest of it was round. And I said, I think I found your problem. I said, I think you have a collapsed upper hose. And under suction, it's closing off. And it's not letting the fluid flow. And he's like, what do you mean? So I showed it to him. I said, come here, look at my car. My car was still warm. So the hose was fully, I said, squeeze that hose. It's you can't squeeze it. It's under pressure. I said, that's the way it should be because it's flowing, it's holding fluid. Yours, I think, is collapsing under suction. And so I started looking at the car some more, and I look at the data plate. He was telling me that the car was white, but the interior had been originally all red, and somebody had changed. They put in white seats and white half door panels and a black carpet, so it looked a lot better. And I said, "Did you ever decode your data plate? Data plate is sitting right on the fender on a Chrysler. That's the whole birth certificate of the car." So he's like, "No, I never did that." I said, "Well, I got some books at home. Would you like me to do it for you?" So he says, "Oh, sure, if you can." So this is what amazed me. The guy's had the car and he didn't do it. Not only I did it by the book on a piece of paper, and then I found a site that let me put the numbers in and produce this. Print out this paper that looks like, it's like it even went over on the back. And I sent it to him. Yeah, and I sent it to him. I said, he's like, "Man, you did that fast." I'm like, it was that. I said, all you had to do was Google 1970 Challenger data plate decode. And that was the first link that came up. And I just clicked on it and literally just input all of those alphanumeric codes. So it amazes me that a guy can have a car for so long and kind of be into it, but not go that next step into wanting to find things out that he wants to know. Just, I don't know.
Boggles your mind.
It does. It does boggle my mind. It actually does. It really does. But
I mean, come on, Ray. You don't have a 944 flywheel sitting next to you, too?
No, I don't.
I mean,
that I don't.
I mean, these are just everyday normal things in the garage, right?
I know. Yeah, well, that's true.
You probably
Well-
have. I mean, I got a CV joint for my Audi. See,
That's good.
Yeah.
Nice.
I mean, these are just things that we need that you
Yeah.
never know.
You have to
Laying
have.
around in the garage floor.
So he got back to me again. He emailed me. Oh, that's right. I gotta take some more. I've been handing out business cards like crazy. I gotta take some more to reload. Where the hell do I have my stash? I got a stash here somewhere. I think these are them. So he sends me another email, and he was thanking me. So he was all happy and proud of himself. He found a hose. He sends me a picture of one of those corrugated
Oh no.
accordion hoses, and it was like $41. And I told him, I said, Lou, I hope you didn't buy that, and if you did, return it. So I went to Rock Auto and I found a molded hose for $5 and sent them the link. I said, please put a molded hose on the car. I said, that's the hose you put on if it doesn't exist or you're doing a swap or something.
Or if you're sitting in the middle of Kalamazoo someplace out in
Yeah.
the desert or
And that's
something,
all you can get. Right.
Yeah, but
Right.
Mojave's a good desert to sit in for that.
Yeah.
yeah.
So we'll see what he did with that. I'm curious. I want to see if he's going to show up again on Monday night with the new and improved car.
I had to change the radiator for my father-in-law yesterday on his Toyota.
You do a lot of radiator changing, don't you?
Not intentionally. Yeah, he called and I guess wanted me to take a look at it. It was overheating. My wife talked to him and said, hey, coach is having a rough weekend with coaching and stuff. He's trying to decompress. And he said, well, let him know if he wants to look. I'll pay him for it. And so I think it was Sunday evening, he called and he said he went to go. He popped the hood and looked at it and saw signs of seepage. So he was going to replace the upper radiator hose. And I said, yeah, I said, it's been a rough week. I said, I'll tell you what, I said, change that hose. That's, you inspected looking for any signs of leakage. Change that hose. If you have a problem, just let me know. I'll come help. And actually that was Monday. So Tuesday, the bus didn't come and pick us up after our game. And while we're sitting there in the way up way up in Marana, waiting for our bus our bus that left us, and then our bus that was rerouted to us. Anyways, he called and he says, hey, I went to change it. And he goes, the neck, it came off.
Oh, no.
And I said, on the radiator. And he says, yeah. And I said, that's what happens with those plastic radiators. I said, but the good news is you found the problem. And he says, well, I got a radiator coming in. It'll be here in the morning. Would you help me? And I said, yeah, I'll come help. So I got there and he had loosened up the fans. And when I was pulling up, he was leaving to go do something. And I waved as he went by. I got out, went over and looked at the car. He was back within 5-10 minutes. And by the time he got back, I already had the fans out, the wiring unhooked, and had the radiator almost out. And yeah, he was kind of shocked, but it was actually pretty simple.
Time too.
I thought I was doing it in regular time. He felt that it was record time, but but that's always a good thing to impress your father-in-law. So
yeah. Well,
but
we'll keep coming back for more.
Yeah. No, I got it taken care of, and then we sat there for about probably an hour or two and just shot the shit. And so
that's good.
Yeah, I spent all weekend working on the Honda Odyssey, just throwing the parts cannon at it like crazy.
What were you trying to fix?
It was overheating, and it would overheat and an AC wouldn't work, which that makes sense. So then I did rig up the fan, the fans. For some reason, the fans weren't coming on. I rigged the fans up, but then this is what happened with the AC. The engine would stay cool, but then the AC, when it's shooting out of the dashboard, would be cold only if you had the rear AC on. If you turn the rear off, it just blows out. The AC turned off and it was just blowing hot air. So I was like, what the heck? So I'm like, all right, thing has 170 something thousand miles on it, and AC runs all the time. So I'm like, well, you know what? I bought all the parts to replace the AC. Compressor, condenser, evaporator valves. What else? No, not evaporator, expansion valve. All that stuff, right? So I get the and I was glad I did do it because I was thinking, I'm like, well, the AC was kind of working. Maybe I didn't have to change the compressor because that was like $300.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize you could do this. I took the condenser out, and it has a dryer like on the side. Yeah. It had a little Allen or something on it. So like, let me just take this. I had the new condenser, so I was putting the new condenser in.
Okay.
So I unscrewed the thing. It's like some filter in there and whatever. And the filter had like, the dryer. Yeah. It had like this much of black goop on the bottom.
Right.
It was like, oh, I go, bet you the compressor is going. That's the only place stuff could come from, right? It's a compressor. So like, all right, I don't feel bad spending all these hours replacing, because I had to pull the alternator out. Then I had to pull the AC compressor out and all this other stuff that was in the way. I put new fans in it, did all that stuff. Also, I did power steering pump was leaking like crazy. So while I was there, replaced the idler pulley, all the stuff that was, might as well do it while I'm here. Fix it all. I unrig up my AC always on with the ignition and set the car up. I have it in my shop. It's running good. I'm like, okay, everything seems fine. It was running for like 45 minutes. Didn't overheat. AC is working fine. Like, all right. So the next day, I'm like, let me go take it for a test drive. Take it for a test drive. We get it outside. Overheats, first off. I'm like, okay, what the hell? Like, all right, let me rejigger the wires so it turns on all the time. Like, all right, fix the overheating problem. Now the AC, if I keep the dash part on, I changed the expansion valve on only the front. There's an expansion valve in the back I didn't touch because that's a pain in the ass. I don't want to do it. So I left that one. So now I turn the AC on the dash. It blows cold. I go, okay, that's good. It's working. I turn it on high on the rear AC. It starts blowing warm. It's like, what? It's like the opposite problem. I was like, what the heck? So then, what's today? Thursday? Tuesday. I'm like, all right. And I ripped the whole, because you have to rip the whole interior panels off and the whole air box to get to the expansion valve. In the back, I get to the expansion valve. I look at the rear evaporator, and it's just clogged up with a whole bunch of stuff. I'm like, oh, that could be an issue.
Yeah.
So I ordered another evaporator. I'm going to try replacing that evaporator and that expansion valve and charge it up again and see what happens. It's still going to overheat. I didn't fix that problem, but I'm trying to fix the AC now.
Well, I mean,
it's like,
the fans should come on high with the AC. The
AC should come on, yeah. And you can see them kick on when the AC comes on. They kick on,
right?
And then the AC cycles, it shuts off, and then both of them turn off. Which, if the engine temperature gets to a certain level, the one fan's supposed to come on, even maybe two. I don't know. I read the whole thing, the diagnostics of it, so I don't know what I got to do with it now. Fix that problem.
Wow.
That might just be take it to the dealer and just say, look, it's overheating. Let me hook it back up. So that was my whole weekend. Nice. I did nothing. Did all that work, and it still broke.
What year is it?
It's a 2014. It was a 3.6 liter or something like that in there. I was just like, I told my wife.
That's the issue. That's the issue. You're in Florida.
Yeah, I'm in Florida. That's the problem.
Climate. You got to move to a cooler climate.
Yeah.
Stop eating meat because that's to the warming of our climate. So if you
there's a
stop
movie-
eating meat, you'll be okay.
There's a movie and a TV show called Snowpiercer. I don't know if anybody's seen it.
I've heard.
Oh
of it.
yeah.
Hey, Pop Squirrel's heart. They because global warming, the Earth was getting too warm. They came out with some chemical and they sprayed it all over the Earth, and it got way too cold, like below whatever. I don't
That's
know,
what they're doing
minus
now.
70. Yeah, and everybody froze and died, and the only people that were alive were on this train. That's the whole movie.
Oh yeah. I saw a commercial for that.
Yeah, yeah. And then the TV show, but I can't find the TV show anywhere to watch.
But they're actually really doing that. They're
Trying to warm or cool down.
Bill
Gates?
Bill Gates. He's in the middle of this, and they've created this dusting. I can't remember what they called it. I watched it the other night, and they're going to have these like 747s. Airplanes mounted with these spray nozzles, and there's going to be like hundreds of them flying in a certain. They're going to go at a certain altitude and lay this coating. It's supposed to have like, I can't remember what they said, 75%. It's supposed to allow 75% of the sunlight in, 25% reflection, so that it will drop the temperature. Because they say it works. That's what happens with volcanoes. When a volcano and the ash is in the air, the temperature drops, 10 degrees or 15 degrees or whatever. So they formulate it with this reflective material, and they're going to add a layer to the ozone.
Yeah, it's
Save us
supposed
all.
to be to block out the sun.
Don't worry, I let enough
that
R134 out. There should be a hole above my house.
All right, so that answers that question. You're not reclaiming it.
Oh wait, yes I am. Yes,
Good.
yes,
we're still
definitely
live.
reclaiming it.
I almost couldn't sleep tonight, Keith. I was going to let you know.
Hey, you know what? I'm actually been under the weather today. I got nauseous. I thought it was because I took my vitamins on an empty stomach. And
C19.
I now know I know it's now because Keith improperly released his R134. Andy eats meat. If he didn't eat meat, that zinc wouldn't have bothered me.
Yep.
Yeah. Tough crowd. And actually, it's kind of funny because last night or yesterday, actually, it was last week, I snapped the AC belt in the tool truck, and I'd gone a couple days without AC in the front. I had AC in the back. So, and after our little heat wave of 105 going on, I last night put the AC put the belts on the tool truck, so crawling around out there in the middle of the night.
Better than the middle of the afternoon.
It was a couple weeks ago when the box truck the AC in the back, the belt broke, and I was on my route and pulled off and did it on the route. And it was kind of funny. Everybody walking by, like seeing these 2 feet from underneath the truck. And I'm like, Brian, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm changing the belt. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
So, but the problem is the one for the box truck for the back is the first belt. So that's easy. But of course, after that, the one for the cab is the very first belt. So you got to take everything off to get to that. And that's a pain in the butt.
Right. And it's a cab over?
Yeah, it's cab
right?
over.
So now we have like stuff like on a dash, you just lift it, it goes on the window.
Yeah, you have to be careful because you'll find a lot of them with cracks in them because stuff comes off the seat and hits the glass.
Everything into the defroster vents.
Yeah,
Yeah,
everything, dude. It's a mess. So that's when you know it's time to clean the truck out because you just lift the cab, it all falls on the floor, then you can rake it out.
That's the easy way to do it.
Yeah.
Shake
I've
it
Friend of
got,
mine
around.
doesn't
huh?
believe in raking. He just believes in taking a hose,
Yeah.
wash it all out.
Well, I have. It was actually. I don't know if it was from my wife's excursion, but she had one of those weather floor mats. Weather
A
guard.
weather guard, yeah.
Yeah, and it was for the third row, or between the second row, I guess. So it was about that wide and that long. Well, it fits perfect in the front of the tool truck. So when she had gotten rid of that, she had asked if I wanted that. And that's what I lay on that's what I have, is that rubber weather guard mat. And so, like I said, it makes it real easy, Papa Squirrel, because when you tilt the cab over and everything falls on the floor, you just grab that mat and pull it out and it all hits
Yep.
the ground.
Yeah.
You shake it off and then you throw it back in the truck and you're good to go. That's self-cleaning on that end.
Yep.
Oh, you reminded me. Also of Bill Gates. Apparently, another plan is to cut trees down, and then bury them, because that helps with the global warming too.
Oh, really? Cutting tree? Yeah.
Cut the trees out. Don't use the trees for anything. Just bury them.
Huh? I don't know.
Yeah,
I know. In my area, if you remove a tree, you got to plant 2 trees back. So you got to be careful.
No, there's some forests. Just there's too much greenery, and too much heat coming from the trees. So you got to chop them down and get rid of them.
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
Yep.
I'm glad. I feel safer, so it's okay.
Yeah, we'll all be freezing.
Those trees are what caused havoc during Roman times and Egyptian times and Grecian times.
So I don't know.
Yep.
Well, guys,
we've had enough.
Oh, you know what? Actually, you know what else I found today?
No.
I'm completely excited because of my cyclone.
Yeah, that's.
Oh yeah, the one they spelled wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, this is.
See.
I'm excited about that, but then
where'd you find that
case? Huh?
That was in a case of cars.
That was in a case. That's in the newest case, the Q case. It's last year. It's the last case of the year.
Uh-huh.
But with this car, that was one of them, and they brought back the Chevette.
Oh, sweet! That's
nice.
cool.
So,
I gotta go.
Found. You got the Mercedes. That's a good car. That's the first one, and the second one is silver.
Yeah, it reminded me of that Mercedes. What was it? The SL 500 Hammer.
Yeah,
or whatever they called it. And then I got this.
Some Jeep.
Oh yeah, the Jeep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, I made a run to my storage unit. I kind of took a lot of my stuff out there. I had the guy that got me that Cyclone, a buddy of mine that found. Even the artwork is really good. I'm hoping I can find another one, but that's the the artwork on the card.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
So, but he was
There you go.
he was talking about some older stuff that he was trying to find or wanted to see, and I had it in my storage unit, and I said, I normally don't do this, but I'll show you. And he was like, can I come by and look through your? I said, no, nobody's allowed back here. Nobody's allowed. So
I still haven't found that one.
But
yes, I know.
But I was excited that I got all of the drag strip cars now. I finished the whole set.
That's cool.
Yep. So, but other than that, I didn't have. I mean, like I said, anything that I got new, I ended up taking it over to my storage unit. So, I'm kind of empty over here. Can you believe that? Kind of.
It
empty.
looks like it.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
But they have their. But actually, I got to make sure I stop by this weekend because they have their new mail-in. Let's see here. The new mail-in is a Mini Cooper. Get 20 cars, and they have their new Mini Cooper.
You keep it over there,
Nice.
please.
It's the same color as the other one.
Yeah,
I
well,
gotta put wider
this
Velcro
year,
and it falls off.
they're all purple. These are all
Oh.
the mail-in cars
Huh?
are purple,
Place to put
and this has number 6 on it. That's the 6th one.
you do this.
Is that a Dollar General again, or
No, this is Target,
no Target?
and then this comes
Put it there. Now, I'm not
tomorrow.
going to touch it and you watch it fall.
I'm not buying from Target anymore.
Yeah, I know. I'm having a hard
Oh,
time.
come on, you
I
can
don't
check
want
out
to talk
the-
about it. Okay.
You can check out the special swimsuits.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
When we
actually, you know what happened? Oh, we're still alive. God, I can't.
Yeah, but still, nobody's watching anymore.
So this one's coming tomorrow. This is the custom 69 Mach 1.
Oh yeah.
And the hood comes off. I mean, the whole front end comes off of it. I don't know if it has.
That's cool.
All right. You know what? Just to appease Brian, we're gonna end the stream now.
Yeah, we want to hear the good stuff.
Gonna end
Yeah,
the
because I
stream.
almost
So,
said something.
for Lewis Lee and Ray Guarino playing in traffic. We haven't signed off formally in a while. I don't know why we haven't done that. So we haven't done that. So
Give it the 3-finger salute.
we get it right. Of course, for McNamara, Brian, Papa Squirrel, Keith, and Coach Isaac. We're all we'll be back in next week and do more of this. So now we're going to talk about some good stuff that you can't hear. So we're going to do that right now.
Still says live.
It ain't going to be live in a second. Come back
No.
next week. What the heck is it? No, we're going to get it from football plays.
Football
Yeah.
plays. That's the spy.
That's this.
This part is
Secret
over.
stuff.